Today on Country File, you join me digging up some roses. Bloody hell, it's stuck in my head. Poxy thing. So, oh. Aurora, they're not Aurora, they're Aura. Aura Glow. So they're not Aurora, they're Aura. Oh yeah, look at that. Good morning everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to have a look. I've been to this job once and the guy spent quite a lot of money on his garden. It's not a particularly big garden, but it's a really nice garden. He had an electrician come in, do a lot of lighting, and ever since the electrician's gone, he won't return because he knows that under the ground he's put some joint boxes that are now full of water and the lights won't work at all, okay? So we've got to go and rewire from a box. I will show you the job, obviously. Rewire from a box, a new armoured, with 3 switch wires, a neutral and a CPC to do a pond light, some sleeper lights and some bedding lights. Okay, we've got to do that today. We've already done some ground lights that were full of water. We've rewired those and sorted those out. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing and don't forget to hit the fun button, and also check out the new CJR store where you can find all the great products that I use on a day-to-day basis, and the website is going to get bigger and more lines will be added, so don't forget to check that out and enjoy the video. Right, here we go. Let's go and have a look at this job. So as you can see, clients had a lot of money spent here. So I'll just run through what we are doing. We've got these bed lights to find where the cables go. And then in each of the beds, there's some sort of uplighters, okay? We've got to check the quality of those and re-terminate. Probably run a cable round here somehow, feed each one independently. And then I've got to find where these cables are, okay? That runs round. There's joints under this floor, can't find them, moisture's got in. To be fair, the guy's done a reasonable job. He just doesn't want to come back and rectify it because he knows he can't find where these joints are under the floor, okay? We've got a socket here which is just feeding this, so that'd be on its own switch, and then new cable's going to run round low level. Shame we can't get it below the grass, but that's life. Runs round, runs to this box that the guy installed. This is his cable, so I'm going to install a 5-core multi-core armoured, 3 switch wires, 1 neutral, 1 earth CPC, and this is the cable that I installed to replace the one that feeds these. So I had to put new ground lights in and then refeed it all under this patio. So first things first, I'm going to rip out that cable there and run my new armoured low level. We can't peel this grass because it's stuck to the wall because it's artificial. We'll come along here, and then once I get to here, I'll show you a little bit more about the job. I'm going to lay this armoured out in the sun first. Just going to make it a little bit easier to install. And as I said, it is a little, what did I get in the end? 1.5 mil. Yeah, 1.5 mil, 5-core, yeah. So we'll just roll this out first and leave it in the sun for half an hour. Crikey. Right, so this is my new armoured that feeds the new uplighters in the ground, and then this is the original bits which I've not actually touched, but I know that there is dead shorts on the neutral earth, okay? So it tells me that the box is full of water somewhere under the floor. I think the client said there's maybe 3 or 4 boxes under this floor. He can't remember, and as I said, the chap doesn't want to come back, which is fair enough, okay? So I'll sort this out. So what we're going to do, rip this multi-core armoured out here. That was the original that I disconnected. Basically these run up to a switch inside, and then I think he came off the circuit, so he fused it down to 3 amps, which is great. Fuse spur inside, come off the local ring circuit, feed up to the switch, back down in these back down in these 3 cores basically. So I will rip this out, rip this armoured out, dig these stones out, and then get this new armoured cleated round and in. Right, there's that existing armoured disconnected. I don't know why he did it like this. Don't know why he felt he needed that many cores, but anyway, you can share the neutral and the lighting, obviously, because it's on the same circuit. If it was multiple circuits, then you would need multiple neutrals, but it's the same circuit. You can use the same neutral and the same CPC. There's that cable that's down, which did the light is in the ground. Okay. As I said, I'll just install a new one out of there. That's fine. So what I'm going to do now is come over to here and start disconnecting. I'll disconnect that cable there. That is an armour that runs from a box under this patio, and then I'm going to start digging out these beds to find the joint boxes. So this is that single socket, which obviously would be fused down to 3 amps, so if you was to plug something in, it would trip. Okay, so I've not had this off obviously yet, but we'll have a look what is going on in here. Wow. There we go, a little bit of tell you what, that's been getting wet, and there's no drain plug been drilled out, look, and he's actually got the top at the bottom. Okay, doesn't make that much difference to be fair, but it would have been nice to get that the right way. So anyway, this will get disconnected. I'll clean this out, reuse this. This might even be, what can I do here? Flip this over, turn it the right way, use these two, bring that armed along, come into here, and then this socket will feed there, and then obviously my other switch lines will be in here for the other lights. It's perfectly fine to do that because this is exactly the same circuit. Okay, if it was a different circuit I wouldn't do it, I'd put a box here, but while I've got this one I'll use it. It's that's a rusty old lock nut. You might say unscrew the box first, Chris, but I can't get them screws out. So oh, look at that! Woo! That was on there well, wasn't it? Look at that! Look, it's literally a finger tight on that gland. Anyway, so we'll cut this out. It's running to the left. I'm going to get this off, clean it out as I say, cut this now with a hacksaw so it's gone. Oh, there we go. There we go. Where's that going then? That's just running under the patio that way, and there'll be a joint box. There'll be an horrible joint box under this bed that I can't get to, so I won't cut this yet. We'll leave them in just for now. And we'll see if we can find the junction box. I don't think we're going to be able to, because I know these cables were installed before they even built these big planters and stuff. Today on Country File, you join me digging up some roses. Not really, I'm just looking for this, there's a light on the front of this bed here. I'm trying to find, ow, these cables, but I wonder if this is pure soil, or what do they put in here? So the light's here. There's a cable running down here from this light here, and I found this one. Look, if you have a look at what's in here, these are meant to be pretty good, these. Let's have a look. Oh dear, look at that. See that? Full of water. Every terminal's rusted together. So I don't know if these have been installed correctly, but they're full of water basically, so I expect every one of them to be like that. They got a bit of moisture in, but that won't that's not bothering me because they haven't been on. And then here we got a cable running down. I'd love to cut this rose bush down here to assume another junction box. Again, it's going to be full of water, so what I'm going to have to do is find all these cables and then do a joint in each of these beds and just refeed them basically. Well, I'm still digging. Found the cable that feeds this one, found the cable there that feeds the wall light. I'm just starting to uncover another cable leaving that junction box, which I assume is going to be under this big pile of mud down there. So I've found these cables. Ah, sugar. I just whacked my head on that freaking rose bush. Bloody hell, it's stuck in my head. Epoxy thing. Oh, that's hurting. Oh. Anyway, look, I found this main. I'm hoping I can get to this junction box here. I'm going to dig this right out now. Chuck this soil out of the way. Try and find where this is, because this might help me out. Jesus, look at that. Could he use a bigger resin joint if he tried? Probably not. Look at that beast. Friggin' hell, man. Why? Why don't you just fix a nice little whisker up here on the side, yeah? You ain't gonna see it and you can get to it. Friggin' state of that thing. Friggin' hell. Don't know if there's anything leaving the other end, but what are you thinking, bud? What are you thinking? So I've been digging away like a cat, looking for a place to have a crap. Found this, obviously, and then over in this corner found all these cables that obviously run from that joint, but I can't find the right amount of cables, so there must be some more joint boxes in this bed somewhere. Okay, but if you come over here, we've got, look, 1, 2, 3 lights, okay, and I've got 3 cables, 1, 2, 3. So he hasn't, if it was me I would have wired these together, 1, 2, and then just brought 1 cable along, but he seems to have brought 1 cable for 1 light, which is great, but if I can't find where the joint box is, how am I going to rectify it and connect back onto it? So I've now got to try and, I'll probably disconnect this one because it won't wreck the render so much. Find where that's fed from. Try and identify the cable that feeds these ones and then refeed it, and hopefully we've only got to do 1 joint and then we can get it back on, but yeah, it's a little bit disheartening. So you know, sometimes on a job when you can lose your head, well, I'm losing my head. I'm going to have a brew in a minute. But let me show you this. So every single one of these lights that has been jointed with one of these little pot things has got water in it, okay, has had water in it, they're wet, okay, rusting, and if that fills with water it's going to short the lights out. So what I'm going to do is cut every single one of these joints off these lights, okay, look, plenty of them, okay. What I'm then going to do is, because he's wired the right amount of cables for the right amount of lights, so there's 3 here, they run back, there must be 1 more of those big torpedo squid junction boxes in one of these beds. I will try and find it. If I can eliminate it, I will, okay. Well, what I'm going to do, as I say, cut these off. I'm then going to do my tests on each of these cables, so make sure they're all clear. Test these ones, obviously, if I can't disconnect the lamps, which I might be able to. I've not looked at these yet, but they might just pop off. If I can disconnect the lamps, and I can measure it all to make sure that the last junction box in the floor is okay, I can then rejoin over there into a whisker and then get these all put back together, go off, get some new joints for these lights, proper jowl ones, IP68, rather than these crappy push on things that are just going to get water into them because you're relying on a washer as such. What I then do is take all the covers off, let these dry out, and then see if I can reseal them, and then maybe at a later date. It's a shame because they are what are they, Aurora, they're not Aurora, they're Aura. Aura Glow. So they're not Aurora, they're Aura. So maybe that's the Chinese, well, they're all made in China, but they're made to a standard. That one's, yeah. Anyway, I'll stop babbling, I'll crack on. So I'm still going for it, digging for treasure, as you do, and I think I've found another box. That's quite interesting because it's not another squid, yeah? I knew there'd be one in this bed somewhere because I had 6 cables that way, 4 here, so 6 to 4 doesn't count, doesn't add up, okay? So there must have been another joint, and it's in this epoxy rose bush, and if I can get it out, we're gonna have a look. And that's not what I expected, to be honest. Let's have a look. Let me get it out. Ah, it's coming. It's coming. Oh, bloody hell. It's coming out. There we go. Look. Oh, she blows. I like to see. This is why I didn't want to. Hey, let's put. It looks like there is some gel. They might put some gel in this one. Get it out here, if I can, on camera. I'm going to go wash my hands. I'm not going to touch the camera. I'll be back with a screwdriver. Okay. It's making sense now. It wasn't a second ago, but now it is. So he's used a whisker box, which is nice to see. But let's see what it looks like in here, because this is what I didn't want to leave this junction boxes without checking them, yeah? There's some render stuck in that screw hole. Okay. Get some of that mud off. Going in if I can help it. If he's put some paste in here, I don't want it to wreck it. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, that's good as gold. Look, that's how it should be done. Yeah, he's done a cracking job on that one. Look, hopefully you can see that on camera. It's a nicely gelled up box. There's going to be no chance that that is going to have any water ingress, so I'm happy to leave that. I'll leave the lid on, I'll leave it out. At least I know now that there are other junction boxes, and if they're by like this standard, they're going to be as good as gold, okay? So what I'll do is leave this exposed, and then I can do some testing now and make sure that these joints are good. Right, I have got my head around this finally. So this cable here is going to be in a junction box under this floor somewhere, because the armoured comes in armoured, and it's in rubber flex, high tough, not high tough, but rubber pond grade flex here, okay? So this junction box feeds all of these sleeper lights. As you can see, that one there loops out, goes into there, so that tells me this one feeds all the sleeper lights. And then this one running through, doesn't connect anywhere, it's going to run along here, along here, along here to here, and this is going to feed all of the bed lights. I'll call these the bed lights, okay, uplighters. So all I've got to do is bring my armoured into this socket here. One switch line will drop off to do the pond slash the fountain, sorry, slash light. I'll bring two or one another armoured out of here, up into this sleeper bed, up along here, put a whisker box here. I'll then dig out this cable, put it into here, dig out that cable, put it into here. So accessible box mounted on the side of these beds here on this concrete wall, and then that should solve the the cable buried under the floor, which is the joint underneath the floor is down, and then we can re-terminate all these lights and get them working again. Right, as you can see down there, well, hopefully you can see I've cut the cables. They're gone now. Okay, so what we're left with now is these new cables. Cables are lovely. Okay, what we're going to do now is put some juice through these to make sure that we've now eradicated the dead short between neutral and earth. Okay, if we have, great, hopefully you can see that. If we haven't, then I'm going to have to do some more digging and find the other joints. So I'll do it on 250 first, yeah? I might be able to see that, it's a bit sunny now. Okay, so this one here should be the lights in the face of the sleepers. So I've got my Crocs on the CPC and the neutral, so this should be clear. Okay, greater than 200. And if we go between the neutral, sorry, the CPC and the line, greater than 200. And then what we can do, because we've got lamps in, we can put the line and the neutral together and insulation resistance to earth. Okay, that should be clear. Greater than 200. What I'm going to do now, put it onto 500, give it another test. So 494 mega ohms, so that's absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do now is, this now should be all the cables that pop out at these junction boxes for the uplighters. Okay, I'm just going to do the same, back down to 250, so greater than 200. Go between neutral and earth. This is the one that's going to cause you problems with your RCD. So I've got 122 mega ohms, so that might be because I've still got a couple of those little joints on the ends of the cables there. So what I'll do now is pause you quickly, go and cut them off and then retest. I've just taken off those little ends off of those lights, so we can retest now. So there you go, so we got greater than 200 now, and now because I know I've got no lamps on these ones, I can go between the line and neutral, test it again, greater than 200. So we solved the dripping issue, so now we can just ramp it up to 500, redo it again, we should get greater than 500, there we go, greater than 500. Okay, so I'm happy now, I've found all the joints I need to, so now I can start putting this garden back together. So I've had a little break, I've laid the armoured around the perimeter of the wall, got the big guns out. I always use the M12, so I thought I'd go for the M18 today, give them a run out, impact and SDS on hammer, like that. Yeah, so I'll just get this cleated. I'm not going to show it you, it's pretty boring. I'm going to gland that end, and I'm going to gland that end into that socket with a storm gland, one of those. And then I picked up the, you're going to like me for this, I picked up the whisker earthing bar that goes inside the whisker 308. Okay, right, new armoured has been drilled out the back of there. I'll cleat him along around here into a whisker box here. I can then connect in these two cables. He'll be cleated down the back there on that post, buried under there, and then connected into that joint slash socket there. I'm not sure where we left off, but I'm trying to crack on. Cables in, as I said, comes around the back here to the new box here, and this is one of the whisker glands. What you can do is just make sure you put that in before you screw the armoured gland in, and then that will give you so you screw that up tight, and then that will then give you earth continuity to run a fly lead off of here. We'll then earth down this armoured, going back that way at this box here, and then the one, oh yeah, look at that, and then the one feeding, so that'll be that one, we earthed that end, and then the one from this feeding this socket here will be earthed at the house end, okay? I'm not going to fix this to the wall, get this made off and start connecting these lights back up. So this SDA comes as a multi-core. It comes 1 to 5, yeah? So what I'm going to do is make one. That'll be the switch line for this pond pump / light, okay? 1. 2 will be either the sleeper lights or the bed lights. 3 will be either the sleeper lights or the bed lights. 4 will be the CPC. 5 will be the neutral. And I've got some sleeving to just go on, identify 5. It's a bit long. It's nice to see a number still. That's number 5. Okay. And that's number 5, so that's a neutral. New hard and fast rule with this. I mean, if you was using this as a 3-phase, you'd probably use 1, 2 and 3 as your phases. 4 is your neutral, 5 is your CPC, but it doesn't make much difference as long as it's identified by the colour of the conductor here. 4 and 4. And as this is a socket and a junction box for the other light in, it just means it's accessible and I haven't got to bury this anywhere. It's accessible in the back of this socket. I'm going to seal up those holes and then I'm going to drill out the drain hole in the back of that socket as well. So socket's connected back up, 2 armors come out buried. Comes along here to the new box. 2 existing cables connected, and then what I'm going to do, connect these lights back up. I've got these whisker joints. I believe they're called a whisker shark, and they're IP68. So these will be absolutely fine to use on these little up and downy lights that I've got to rejoint now. I've only got 2. So I'll go off and get 6 more, but I'll get these 2 done and then I'll go over to the main box over there, connect that up, and then we'll show you the finished job. I think I'm going to cut these a little shorter, they don't need to be that long, it just looks scruffy. Flex, best ever tool. Look at that, beautiful. 1, 2, 3. Keep the bits out of the mud, and then get your whisker joint, get your light back. I'm not convinced these are gonna last that long, these lights, because they are crap. But anyway, we'll put them back in. I'll then put a joint on here, cut it off, make these back. Oh, look at that cable, it's beautiful. Nothing wrong with this cable. It's a shame the joints weren't done very well. And I'll open this and put this on. This comes with connectors. I did use Wagos in one, so they're not that good with Wagos. They are designed for connectors, which is a shame. I'll just show you. Comes with the 2 cable ties to make it maintenance free, if you like. And then in here, look, you've got, come on, you've got the jowl. Can you see that? You've got the jowl already set in there, look. So when you put them connectors in there, they're just like a through connector. They fit right in. And then it squashes on, and then them little end bits seal the cable. Look, see that? Bloop. So I'll connect this one up. I'll show you when it's done. Right, there we go. Try to neaten this box up as best I can. It's a little bit more logical than it was, and it's not going to kill you when you take the lid off. But it'd be isolated anyway, wouldn't it? So that can go on. Tighten that up, and let's get it on. The lights are junk, basically. These lights are junk. Look at that. So that is live to earth, and water's got in all the lights and corroded all the terminals in the bottom of these lights. So I'm going to test every single one of these. I expect them all to be the same, and then I'll have to give the bad news to the client, unfortunately. There we go, these are the ones I came and did a while ago, all working. Got the sleeper bed lights back on, working. Every single spike light is junk, so they've all gone in the bin. We're back here on another day. The pump is making a bit of a noise, but God knows what's wrong with that. The stones are vibrating, so yeah,